Hello, I'm recording this late on October 2nd, and that means two things. No matter what you call it, I think we just got to admit that we're in favor of better lighting. And it's time for the Darkness News Update brought to you by Evluma and their line of dark sky friendly lighting products. These are area lights, these are acorn lights, these are street lights that conform to the best possible understanding of the 5 principles of responsible outdoor light at night. And when you install them correctly, say with a nailed member, they really go all of the distance you need to. Anyway, let's get into the news. Soft Lights Foundation has filed a suit against the FDA and the National Highway Transit Safety Administration over LED headlights. This case alleges that the Food and Drug Administration and the Highway Safety Admin are derelict in their duties under their own founding papers, their own guidelines to make headlights safe for everyone. And we'll see how that lawsuit develops. If you didn't know, many LED billboards are already illegal under Title 23 of the Electronic Code of Federal Regulations. There are bans on roadside signage that are of, quote, such intensity or brilliance as to cause glare or impair the vision of drivers of any motor vehicle. But there's actually a gap in that, based on a 2007 revision to the Highway Beautification Act. And there are many local ordinances looking to square that circle because that's just how America works. Deep sea mining will be adding light pollution to the bottom of the ocean. If you're not familiar with this, the fact of the matter is that rare earths actually form little balls on the surface of the seabed at the very deepest parts of the sea. And there are plans to start extracting these rare earths, which are needed for semiconductors and other useful electrification type technologies. But it also means just trawling the bottom of the ocean with drones and other unmanned, uncrewed devices, which means adding light to the bottom of the ocean, where there's never been light before. And that's probably gonna be bad. Not just the trawling, but the adding of the light. And we'll see if any international body can actually regulate that. We'll see. Probably not. Probably not. It's a shame, really. The European Union has funded a 4-year research program into the impacts of sound and light on waterways. These are freshwater waterways, but the new Aquaplan program will spend 2.6 million euros to quantify the impacts that already exist and propose solutions to those impacts. The CIE has issued a statement on proper light at the proper time. This is a new position statement from the International Commission on Illumination that affirms existing guidelines on brightness and timing for the benefits of building occupants. Circadian disruption has been linked with obesity. This is a new study based on the weight-adjusted waist index. It's like BMI, but not terrible, if you need to know what that metric is, and diagnosing that against circadian disruption syndrome and finding that those who are disrupted are on the high side of that WWI metric. Flinders University is developing a circadian lighting solution for night shift workers. This is a small trial, but it's very tightly controlled unlike a lot of other trials, and found that their lighting interventions are boosting alertness and other performance tests. The Rubenstein School at Penn State has tested a new set of lighting for national parks. They've developed a test path on campus to determine what users of the paths feel about safety and how it relates to brightness. Related to that, Grand Teton National Park has tested red lighting on their streets and parking lots. This is a new a lighting solution that mixes white and red LEDs, specifically again for human comfort, perception of security, and how amenable park users are to lighting changes for wildlife, especially once you say, yeah, the parking lot is red because we're trying to help the deer and the bugs and everything in the park that are already here. And that's actually really encouraging. In Finland, the town of Lahti has switched over to pollinator-friendly street lighting. This is a new filtered solution to LED that is undergoing tests for the environment there. The Shanghai University is testing interventions for breast cancer treatment. This is a new study that is affirming the value of timing cancer treatments to the peaks of the circadian cycle for maximum improvement of outcomes. Sleep quality improves Alzheimer's symptoms. This is a counterpoint to something we were talking about last time, but this is a Taiwanese research team finding that if you can secure 6 or more hours of quality sleep, patients with suffering from Alzheimer's actually do better during the day. The next round of SpaceX satellites, the 7,000 satellites that are going to go up any time now, the ones that the DSI sued to prevent from launching, will emit even more radio pollution than we thought, which is to say that 3.4 times the amount of interference to signals for radio telescopes will be going up. And can we just admit that Elon Musk, controversial, divisive as he is, maybe he's just a bad guy for what we do here, our little corner where we talk about a dark and quiet and sky. We talk about responsible light at night. Maybe we can just admit that the guy that puts giant glowing X's downtown and builds giant factories that glow all night and puts things in the sky that are glowy, maybe he's bad for us. Whatever he's doing to electric cars and social media, aside. The Oregon Outback Dark Sky Sanctuary will be growing by 9 million acres. This is a new multi-year project that will take the largest dark sky sanctuary. It's already 2.5 million acres. That's like half of the nation of Wales. And they'll expand that to 11 million acres, which is 2.5 of the nation of Wales. We'll see how that goes. It sounds cool. In New Zealand, Kaikoura is their third dark sky sanctuary. Kaikoura is actually a town. It's a town. It's not a dark sky town, though. It's not a dark sky community. It's a sanctuary. This whole coastal town on the South Island is actually a sanctuary, according to Dark Sky International. Speaking of Dark Sky International, Paonia, Colorado, has been recognized by the DSI. This is the 6th dark sky town in Colorado. It's home to 1,500 residents in Delta County. We are coming up on fall migration, and by coming up, it's already started, but that means the Centennial Bridge over the Mississippi River has gone lights out for the month. This is happening all across Illinois as well, and Hawaii and Louisiana. More of these changes will be coming. Be aware of lights out orders in your local region. Sea turtles are thriving under changes to lighting on Royal Air Force bases in Cyprus, which just proves that these lighting interventions work. Allen has been linked with seasonal cricket swarms. Crickets are actually pretty active in the autumn, but in urbanized parts of the U.S. South, they get real bad. They are real bad. They start chewing on plants as they're dying. And part of that problem is the availability of light at night. Allen is also contributing to the spread of West Nile virus. The presence of light is changing how mosquitoes group. It's also changing when they hibernate, which means that more light in more places is meaning that mosquitoes are able to spread this disease more than in the past. We've also found that anthropogenic light at night is a generational harm to zebrafish. This is to say that the Max Planck Institute messed with the circadian rhythms of a bunch of zebrafish. They started to behave as though they had anxiety, and their children, the eggs they laid that hatched a year later or months later, they still had anxiety, even if their lighting conditions were normal. In Brunswick, Georgia, they are debating turtle lighting. This is a new zoning meeting that may lead to bylaws that match a number of other beachside communities that respect turtle needs. Highland County schools in Virginia are debating responsible lighting. This is part of a connected lighting project on school campuses, but it might lead to better timing and dimming. In Helena, Montana, there's a new vote on billboard restrictions. This would lead to sign and billboard rules, leading to lights out between 11 and 6, 11 p.m., 6 a.m. Corrales, New Mexico will not allow citizen enforcement of lighting ordinance violations. This was a proposed legislation that would have allowed locals to tattle on any trespass or glare issues they might have noticed. And internationally, we have new lighting at the pyramids of Giza going up. They're not going to like full-on Las Vegas Sphere mode, but compared to what they have now, it's going to be brighter, it's going to be RGB ready, and it's worth noting that Giza is a national park. The pyramids at Giza are a national park in Egypt, surrounded by Cairo suburbs. I know we don't really photograph the pyramids like they're in the middle of the suburbs, but you can walk to a Pizza Hut from the gift shop, I promise to you. And while we're talking about the positioning of the pyramids, let's mention the fact that the pyramids were built 2,000 years before the Babylonians developed their star chart, the one that we really reference most of the time, which means that your Egyptian constellations don't feature Orion. What they feature is a guy named Sa. He's mostly made out of parts from Lepus and Orion, but he does not include Al-Nilam, the middle part of Orion's belt, in his hat. His hat is the two outer ones, which means like, and while we're talking about that, on the outer side, Menkaura, the furthest one, the furthest part on the belt, it's not in alignment with Mintaka, the smallest pyramid. It's actually off by 186 degrees. And anyone who might be trying to tell you that these stars line up with these geographic features, they're trying to convince you Atlantis is real. Atlantis isn't real. Plato made it up. He says so. Like Plato says, like, hey, I'm making up Atlantis as an exercise in hacky political allegory to justify my homoerotic military oligarchy. That's what the Republic is about, guys. That was a huge digression, and I want to thank you for indulging me on my huge digression about Plato and Graham Hancock and stars and pyramids, I guess. Completely unrelated to anything. Thank you for that. Also, thank you to TED Magazine, the Lighting and Darkness Foundation, Nailed, and Evluma. Again, the link is in the description for all your lighting product needs that appreciate the needs of people who need to sleep. Otherwise, I'll see you in 2 weeks. I've been Scott Wachter. Take care of yourself.